Alright, how's everybody doing today? This video is going to be controversial. And before I get started, I must say I really don't need 1,000 people sending me comments saying, oh, they live with their Filipino girlfriend and 5 family members for $100 a month. There's exceptions to every rule. I already know that. So what I'm talking about today is on the general. Generally, I think I was wrong about the Philippines. I made a video a while back saying that I believe you could live in the Philippines with your girlfriend and maybe a child for $1,000 a month. And I still believe that under certain circumstances, but not for the general population. Let me turn this around so y'all can see where I'm at. It's beautiful here. It's constant repair and clean because this is a tropical climate and there's trees everywhere. And if y'all can see, there's leaves everywhere. You can clean all these leaves up and 10 minutes later they're back. There's a pool, here's a tennis court, basketball court, clubhouse, beautiful stonework. Okay, this is a subdivision clubhouse is what this is. And for a long time it's been pretty unkept, but they have recently decided to start cleaning it up and getting everything back to order. And they're doing a pretty good job of it. They're getting everything cleaned up. But like I say, they're going to be out here sweeping these basketball courts and cleaning the pool every day because of all the leaves. Just like my girlfriend, she sweeps all the way around the house, the street, and everything every day because of the leaves. That's not even what the subject is about. That's a side note. But back to where my topic is, I said you could live here for $1,000 a month. I think I was mistaken about that. Now there is circumstances, you know, I go in detail about it, that you can do that. But typically, if you live in a city subdivision, unless you have a big nest egg that you're planning on investing into a house, which they won't for a little bitty small block house, they want $200,000 or $300,000 for it, which is ridiculous. You know, I could build a block house for $10,000 or $20,000. And I ain't saying it's gonna be fancy, but I could do it. But anybody here in the Philippines in the recent years that has any land, they think there's gold in them there hills. And there's not. Not as far as I know of. Now, so if you're living here in the city subdivision, you're gonna be renting. We got lucky and found a house, 2-bedroom house with a single bathroom, single shower, no tub, nothing fancy. The roof is buckling from the humidity in the air. We're paying $200 a month, but yet the owner wants us out with it in the next year because he's planning on doing something else with it. Obviously, he's not making enough rent from us, so he wants to, I don't know exactly what he wants to do, whether he wants to live there, modernize it and get more rent, or what his plans is. It don't really matter, you know. And I doubt we're gonna find another house in this area for $200. The last I heard was like $300-400. And so it is what it is. We can't move far from here because my girlfriend's son is going to a private school that he's been there for years and has all his friends there. And yeah, I know I could pull him out, put him in public school and all that, but he would lose all his friends. He'd lose the education he's getting, you know, so on and so on. Y'all have, if you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. Some schools are better than others, and this is supposed to be a quality school. Oh, if y'all notice, I'm wearing a different hat. I'm wearing this hat. Was my dad's, so I'm wearing it in remembrance of him. That still gets me a little bit. More than a little bit, it gets me pretty bad. But anyway, I could take these shades off because I'm in the shade. But walking here, it's a bright blue sky, sunny day today, so I'll put my shades on coming down here this morning. But now back to the subdivision. So you're paying $200 a month rent. The electricity here is apparently, from what I understand, is more expensive than other places. So we're paying over $200 a month electricity. And look, during the day, there is no electricity being used. We turn everything off all day long. We might have a computer on, or I may have a TV on. That's it. No lights, no aircon, nothing. No hot water heater running, nothing. So we're basically just, we sat out on the porch. Well, we may have a fan going. You know, we have a little floor fan going back and forth, just blowing the cool air or warm air and trying to keep the mosquitoes off of us. But, you know, that's about it. There's not a lot being used. I was looking at the meter yesterday and I could not even see the little wheel turning. I sat there for like 20 minutes waiting for that wheel to make a rotation. And I never did see it make a rotation. So that's how much electricity we're using. But still, we're paying $200 to $250 a month electricity bill. At night, yeah, we'll have a light or two on in the house. It's not like we have every light in the house on, but we will, sometimes we'll turn the split unit aircon on. It's supposed to be more efficient than a window unit. So, with all that being said, we have a pretty good electric bill. And my stepson's school, there's always some kind of a project going on. It costs us money. We don't eat out. I think we've eaten out once since I've been here. We walk to the market and, excuse me, I'm belching. I've had one egg today. It shows you how much I'm eating. But we'll walk to the market, open market, buy a couple eggs and, maybe a piece of fish or something like that. And that's our meal. So we're not being extravagant with our food budget. Now, have I, like some YouTube channels, you'll see them, they write down everything they spend and do it? No, I haven't. Probably should, but I mean, I know what way we live. We're not living extravagant. Trust me. And I started making this YouTube video. Well, of course, I'm doing it trying to make a little extra money. But I've been at it for a year now, and I haven't made any money yet. Not on YouTube AdSense. And the question is, will I ever make any money on YouTube? I bought this camera a year ago, and it came with a DJI mic. Guess what? I've made less than 300 videos, and the mic done kicked the bucket. I just tried to turn it on this morning. It will not work. I had trouble with it last video, and I tried to reset it, thinking maybe it was just, something was confused in it. So I reset it and thought it was working, but as soon as I tried to use it this morning, it's not working. So You know, to buy a new set of DJI mics, that's I think $200 and something. So I can't afford that, not right now. So you take the $800 camera I'm using, plus a $200 new set of mics, and there's you $1,000. Well, I got a long ways before I make $1,000 on YouTube. So my question is YouTube even worth it? So I keep trying, I keep saying it's gonna work. Sooner or later I'm gonna start to get enough followers that I can get monetized, but it's, like I say, it's been a year and I ain't monetized yet. So I don't know, you know. I may not be the personality people want to see on YouTube. So it's a slow growth. What I've noticed, the people that started during COVID, when everybody was sitting at home and couldn't do nothing but watch YouTube videos, those people got big followers. So that's what I've noticed. So for the new young YouTubers out there, it's not easy unless you got one super personality or a niche that people really love. And I would like to get into some of those things on this channel, but it takes money to do that. I'd like to do some camping and, you know, traveling and solar and stuff like that, but all that takes money. So, you know, that's things that people on YouTube don't tell you. So back to the subject. I keep getting sidetracked here. Say if you decide to go out in the province. Here's where the people are going to say, oh, me and my girl live in the province for $100 a month. Got 5 kids. Well, they're full of it, for one. And I ain't saying you can't do it, but you're living in a bamboo shack, no electricity, and the kids probably aren't getting a good education. So there that is. And if you move out to the province, here's the big issue. Either your Filipina either has family land that y'all can live on, or you gotta buy some land or rent. And those Filipinos out there in the province, they done heard about how the people are getting big money on their land, and they're asking fortunes for it. I own about 13 hectares, which is 23 acres in America. I could sell all of that and still not be able to buy a 1 hectare of land here and build a house. So there it is. You either got a big nest egg you willing to spend in America that will never be in your name, and you can spend that money and lose it or whatever, or pray for the best. Me, I do have 3 grown children, and I want to leave something behind to them. So I don't want to sell all of my land. You know, even though I'm here in the Philippines with a Philippine girl, I still have 3 kids that I think about, you know. And we live out in the country back in the U.S., so it is perfect, beautiful land, and I don't want to lose it or sell it. There's one piece of it I wouldn't mind selling it, but it's in the middle of a, what would you call a family, I ain't gonna call it a subdivision, but family homestead. So I don't want to really sell that to an outsider. If I could get somebody in the family to buy that little piece of property, I would. And that wouldn't be enough to buy property here and build a house. So I might could buy a small piece of property here with it. But then what you gonna do once you buy that small piece of property? Live in a bamboo shack? You know? I think I'm too old for that. Plus, where we're looking at buying some land out in the province, it's even more expensive than other places. And then the reason that is, I want, you know, if I want to live out in the province, because I want to be able to grow my own food. I want the homestead, you know, off-grid, the whole works. But I need to be close enough if I have a stroke or a heart attack or something, they can get me to a hospital. I'm not young. So, if you are moving to the Philippines, I would suggest, and there's more and more of this happening, the younger generation that have like online jobs that can continue to work while they're here. I'm old, disabled, and YouTube is about my only chance that I know of to make a little money here. And that's why you see so many Philippine YouTube channels, is everybody's living here is trying to make a little extra money because there's no jobs here for foreigners. Now there again, there might be one somewhere, but it's going to be in your girlfriend's name, or 60% of it be in your girlfriend's name. They're very strict about their rules and laws here. So, yeah, I mean, I understand that. I ain't trying to down the Philippines. It is what it is. I wish America would be more strict about their land rights and stuff. That way China wouldn't be owning hundreds of thousands of acres of land in America, or other countries too, not just China. But China's one of them. I'm gonna walk back down here on the basketball court while I'm talking. Good morning. He ain't gonna speak to me. He's gonna shoot me with his gun. The little boy sitting on the bench back there, he's just giving me a look like I'm an idiot. But so if you live out in the province, there you go. Either you're gonna find a place to rent in the province with a house already on it. That's still gonna cost you a good chunk of money, and it's gonna be a subpar house more than likely, with no roof. It's kind of just a tin ceiling or something of that nature. Or you gonna, and nothing's absolute. Remember, nothing's absolute. I ain't saying there's no houses out in the province with a decent built house, just not very many. I've been looking at them online. I haven't got the money to go out there and travel and look for myself, but I'm just looking what's online on Facebook. So, I haven't found anything at a reasonable price. Well, actually, I hadn't found any that was for rent. I just found houses for land for sale. And some of them, they want you to pay $100,000 for it, and it's just to live there. You don't actually own the land. So you still don't, I don't understand that one. They said just for the rights. But, some things are lost in translation, and I don't understand them. Oh, I'm gonna sit down now for a second. So, back to, can you live here on $1,000 a month? It is possible, but not easy. In the city or in the province. You need more money than that. Say if you're living on $1,000 a month, you're surviving, have one little incident, like you get sick or your girlfriend gets sick or something happens, and you end up in a hospital or something, there you go. Now you're in a bind. And I've been here for about 4 months now, and I've already been to the hospital twice. One with dengue, and one at my heart, my blood pressure shot up to 200 over 101. And I was in the hospital here, local hospital, not one of the big fancy ones. I was here for maybe 2 hours. They gave me some medicine to bring my blood pressure down, and when I got home, I got to figuring out what caused it, so I just don't do that no more. I eat some very, 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 very spicy food, and it caused my blood pressure to shoot up. So, I mean, back when I was young, that wasn't a problem, but it is now. Anyway, that couple of hour little stay at the hospital cost over $350, which is cheap compared to America, but still, when you don't have a lot of money, it's not that cheap. So Between my 2 hospital stays and a family member getting sick and going in the hospital, it has put us in debt, and I am as much stressed now as I was in America. And that's the absolutely opposite reason of why people come to the Philippines. They come here to get rid of the American stress. So I reckon what I am saying is, don't come here with empty pockets. It's not free to live here. You can and have a nest egg, and before that nest egg is completely gone, going back home and figure out what you're going to do next. They started playing basketball over here, and I'm trying to get out of their way. Which I mean, I'm on the sideline, but they still playing ball. I'm just gonna give them their privacy. Even though I've made over 200 and something, I don't even know exactly how many videos, I'm still not comfortable invading people's space, you know, making a video. I'd rather walk away. And I actually came down here at the basketball court thinking nobody would be here this time of morning. Figured to be quiet and, you know, I wouldn't bother anybody, but I didn't realize they were going to be here. The cleaning crews out here sweeping and trying to clean up the basketball court. Although they could do some cleaning on the tennis court. It's covered in leaves. I mean, an inch and a half deep. They'll get to that in a day or two. They slowly getting it all took care of. And things here are all done manually. There is no, you know, machinery. It's all done by hand. I can't focus this camera down, or I'd show you the grass has all been cut here, and it was probably all done with a knife or something. You know, they don't have lawnmowers and weed eaters and sprayers and, you know, all the things that you'd expect a grounds crew to have back in America. Everything's done by hand. So, you know, I give them hats off for that. They work hard. There was a hill over here. Let me see if I can turn around. I don't know if y'all can see that hill behind me. Oh, there it is over here on the basketball court. Anyway, there's a hill back there, and the water comes down the hill, and it slowly pushes the dirt out on the concrete. Then grass grows on it, and it builds up along the edge of the concrete, and therefore when it rains, the water don't drain off. It just holds that water on the court. Well, this guy just come through here with a shovel and cleaned all that up. I mean, I could see he was huffing and a puffing, but he did it. He got it all cleaned up. So, you know, I am not talking bad about the Philippines in this video. It just is what it is. So, you know, prices here are going up. A couple of years ago, you might have been able to live here on $1,000 a month. But now that I reckon COVID came and people made all these YouTube videos about how great the Philippines is, a lot of the prices have went up. I don't know what's caused it. Whether it's YouTubers or expats moving here, or actually there's not that many expats here where I live, but people want to live near the city so they have access to schools, doctors, food, etc., so on. And that in return controls the price of things. Prices go up. Out here there's a city named Clark that I'd love to go visit, because it was built by the U.S. military basically as a Air Force base, and then when the U.S. military left years ago, they turned it into a city. So I hear it has big wide streets and sidewalks and stuff like you would in America. I'd like to go see it just to see, you know. But, and they say you can, not in Clark, they say it's too expensive to live in Clark, but you can get right outside of Clark and live there at a reasonable price. I've never been there, so I don't know. I was watching a Filipino YouTube channel that she was talking about that. And she said it was one of her favorite cities nowadays. So that piqued my interest. I'd like to go see it. What else can I say about this subject? If you live out in a province, like I say, you better have a big nest egg to buy land and build a house with. Then you're going to be spending more money on traveling to go to markets. You're going to be further from everything. You know, some of these places still have just like a walking trail to get to the property. You can't even get a car or anything there. You got to walk to it. So that means you got to leave your vehicle sitting out on the road somewhere, I reckon. I don't know how that works. If I can't get to my property with my vehicle, I don't think I want to live there. So, and like I say, some people, they've got lucky. They married a Filipino that had family land and they was able to build a house on that land. And some people are just got some money that they bought land and built the house on. But you can't just come here and think you're going to spend a couple $1,000s on a piece of property and build a house for $10,000. That's not going to happen anymore. So I reckon I've changed my mind about living in the Philippines. Am I going to leave? If I can get this YouTube channel making just a couple $100 extra, I'll probably stay. But at the rate it's going right now, I'm not making any money on YouTube. I'm not making any money anywhere else. I'm living on disability. I don't see me being able to stay here. We're trying to survive on $1,100 a month. And we were kind of doing it until I went in the hospital. And we had twice. And had a family member went in the hospital and had a bunch of tests ran, and you know, we trying to help pay for that. He had other family members helping to pay for it too. But it's all up together has put us in a serious bind. Even if it hadn't been for the hospital stays, come around March is my stepson's tuition time. That's gonna, you know, about $1,000 plus all the school books. Then he likes to play basketball on several different teams, so that costs money. And then they have to buy you know, the cost of having kids. It's not easy. And here's the next thing. Well, I'm gonna leave it at that. I ain't gonna say nothing else. But so, you know, things cost money. Even if it hadn't been for the doctor visit, there's other things coming up. We don't have any insurance because we can't afford it. We need hospitalization insurance. And everywhere we're checked, it costs money for that too. It ain't none of it free. You ain't getting no government benefits here to go in the hospital. You know, it is, but it's getting away from it, being a cash country where people do everything on a cash basis. They getting to where they doing Gcash and credit cards a little bit, so it's getting away from the cash thing as much as it used to be. For the most part, it's still a cash country. Cash is king. So I'm gonna walk right over here and let y'all see this. I love these. We call them back home, we call them elephant ears. But they're usually about 8 inches high and about as big as your hand at home, back home. And this is a small one here. I'm gonna show y'all against this thing how big it is. It just freaks me out how. Let's see if I can get that in the screen. Can y'all see that? That is humongous. If I do get able to get some land, I'd like to plant some of them on it just so I can look at them, I reckon. With that, y'all, I know this conversation to be controversial and I'm going to get a bunch of comments and blah, 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 but you know, I'm just stating my opinion. I hadn't been here 10, 15 years. I've been here 4 or 5 months. But this is my observation. I don't like living here, although it's beautiful, nice people. They don't speak English as much as everybody says they do. They may say good morning, sir, but that's about it. You're not going to sit around and chit-chat with them like you would your buddies back home. They don't know enough English for that. So, you know, you might buy something and tell them, you know, how many pesos or of something you want or whatever, but that's about it. So there's nothing to do. You know, I can't plant a garden or raise any chickens or cows or anything else here, garden or anything, because it's a subdivision, it's a city subdivision. And I tried to plant some tomatoes in some buckets, but the dirt that I had a choice of getting is basically red clay mud. So whether or not those tomatoes will survive, I don't know. We'll see. You know, I mean, any subdivision, they build houses in a subdivision, basically all the soil that's left is just red clay. Same here. It's just like it is in the U.S. You don't have good soil left around a house in a subdivision. You dig down a little bit, you'll be hitting concrete and everything else. So, oops, there went my shades. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good day. Bye-bye.